Well, welcome once again. This is the Doctor Digital podcast. Purpose of the show is to transform your business and life with education and inspiration. I introduce busy business leaders to trends in business, technology, and marketing to highlight people you should know. Are you a visionary coach, consultant, or service provider struggling to crack the code of online marketing and maximize your profits? If so, you're not alone. Many entrepreneurs find themselves overwhelmed by the constant evolution of digital strategies, unable to cut through the noise and reach their full potential. But what if there was a seasoned expert who could guide you to sustainable, scalable success without the need for expensive ads or complex techs? Meet Jeanne Omlor, the leading business strategist and online profit maximizer. With over 40 years of entrepreneurial experience, Jeanne has built a multi-million dollar online business empire from the ground up, all while overcoming personal challenges and deep debt. As a certified servant leadership executive coach, Jeanne has a unique talent for connecting with her clients on an emotional level, helping them overcome limiting mindsets and unlock their true potential. Her proven strategies have helped nearly 500 businesses thrive online, and she is now ready to share her secrets with you. Whether you're a seasoned expert or an everyday expert looking to package your expertise, Jean's personalized approach and clear action plan can help you achieve the success you deserve. During this episode, we'll do a deep dive into the changes and hot topics of an online business and the biggest challenges and growth. I will leverage the expertise of my guests and how to navigate the unique dynamics of the field. By the end of this episode, you'll be better equipped to know what to do, and I encourage you to contact my guest, Jeanne Omlor, seven-figure coach for coaches and consultants. And with that, I want to welcome Jeanne to the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, except my name is pronounced Jeanne, and I didn't tell you that.
Oh, well, see, I apologize for that.
No problem. I thought I'd sort that out because people know me as Jeanne Omlor, but great to be here.
Likewise. Well, it's great to see you. And, I'm really curious because this is a fascinating background you have. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and what was a pivotal moment for you to get into the field?
Sure. So, my background in a nutshell is I had a degree in design. I worked in the fashion industry. I was an actress for many years. I lived in Europe for 8 years. 6 of them were in Paris as like a starving bohemian. I used to teach English and translate there and do food design for the embassies for Cordon Bleu chef. Then I moved to New York late 90s and I lived in New York for 19 years and I was acting and making films and I worked as a top executive recruiter on Wall Street. And then I became a coach about 13 years ago out of
Okay.
need, because I was newly a solo parent with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And I thought, what am I going to do?
Sure.
And so I started a kids blog and that didn't bring in a lot of money, but I got a lot of nice, designer clothes for my kids. They were the best dressed poor kids in Manhattan. And and then I just started, I got to do something where I can take care of my kids and design the life I want. And coaching answered that because had always coached people on something
Mhm.
informally or formally. So started coaching 13 years ago, and that's how it started. And it was really, by my bootstraps. And for 8 years, I was offline. But then I got online 5 years ago, and that's when I went from really not doing that well as a coach to becoming what I call a rich coach. And I got online, I figured out this is what I was 5 years ago, I was 54 at that point, got online, figured out organic social media marketing, got to my
Mm.
first million in 17 months. And the rest is history. Now we're at several millions, and I have a very small team. And I've tried, I've tested all sorts of stuff for my clients, and I just love my business.
Wow, sounds awesome. This has now been a while, so I'm curious, what would you say, and especially in marketing or anything in this field too, what would you say are some of the biggest changes that you've experienced and seen?
Um, well, first of all, online. Like, I should have gotten online 13 years ago, but I didn't because I didn't know how to. And it was like, oh, I'm not really techie. So I should have gotten online a long time ago because online is still an amazing opportunity.
Mm.
What's really changed is ads don't work the way they used to. They
Okay.
just don't. And people are still operating on this hope that they're going to run ads and there's going to be a flood of clients. And people sell them that pipe dream still, the digital marketers, a lot of them. And
Sure.
ads really don't work that way. Ads are really to for brand awareness and to get people into your market so you can nurture them. That whole thing of a flood of people clicking and sales calls, it just doesn't work like that anymore. So that's the biggest change is the algorithm is, and also the algorithm on all the platforms, your content is seen less and less. So those are the changes.
So if those are the changes, now I'm curious, like how can we center in on what are the hot topics? Because that's what people want to know. What is successful? If the old ways don't work and there are a lot of
Mhm,
disappointments with marketing, what
mhm.
does work? What are those hot topics that you recommend?
Well, I am pleased to say that what I've been coaching on for the last 5 years still works. It still works. And this is a gift that organic social media marketing without ads works still. It always works. And we weren't affected by the fact that the ads don't work. So that's a gift because you can still take your marketing into your own hands and have control over it. When you're running ads, you really don't have control over that. The algorithm can change, they can shut them down, Facebook decides whatever. But when you have control over your outreach, that's what you need. You need some control over what you can do every day to market your business. And it's like in the old days when Google changed their algorithm about 10 years ago or so. I know people that actually went bankrupt
Yeah.
from that change. They actually lost their businesses. I know there was I knew a lot of children's wear brands. And the woman told me personally, she said, when they changed that algorithm and we were paying for the same amount of ads as we were making, clearly
Mhm.
we were making no money. And it changed overnight about 10 years ago or so. And
Yeah.
she said, we couldn't afford our house anymore. We had a very thriving business and we are getting a divorce now. She said, because of the Google algorithm change, it just created havoc that
Mm.
what could we do at that point? She said that was where all of our business was coming from for their boutique, their online boutique. And they changed it so that the same amount of money was going out and they know it as was coming in. So you're losing money because revenues is not profit. So they
Mm.
were actually running at a loss at that point. I said, what are you going to do? She said, well, it's caused a lot of fighting with me and my husband. We're losing our lovely big house that we just thought this was going to go on forever. And I thought, wow, that's a real lesson, right? That something changes in an algorithm. And that's just one case that I know of clearly. And I heard other cases where people were like, I'm calling Google. I'm saying, can we negotiate a better, algorithm?
Yeah.
And they just decided, and they knew what they were doing, just to cut this pipeline off, make it where you most people just, well, it's not worth running ads anymore. So they stopped. So that's dangerous. All the eggs in one basket. When you can control your marketing because you own it and it's not paid advertising, it's really off the merits of you making connections online and speaking to people and getting them on calls and content, and that still works, that's a gift. And we should do as much of this as we can unless that also changes.
So what you're doing then is this is sort of groundbreaking in a way. So I'd really like you to elaborate a little bit on that.
Mm.
What is that you're recommending and how do you do what you do, I suppose is what I'm asking.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm not the only one that teaches this. It's not actually new. It's been working for a long time, and it's called organic social media marketing. And basically, it's through content and through reaching out to people as if you were offline. So it's basically doing what people were good at offline, which was networking, making connections, but that's broken because the amount of time that you have to spend going to networking events, driving around, meeting a few people randomly, that was a hustle. The numbers are better online. The numbers are way better online because there's millions of people. So this is not new. It's been working for a while. I'm just thrilled that it's still working. Okay. And it's really just figuring out what was working for you offline, but you can't do exactly the same thing. You have to make sure it's a different box. So there's different boxes of marketing. Offline at a networking an event, you're at a box and you communicate in that box differently. If you're on a sales call, you're in a different box. We're on a
Mm.
podcast, we're in a different box, communicating in a different way. When you're talking to people on social media, say in Messenger, you're in a different box. And you need to figure out how to be aligned with the box you're in for your marketing and how you're communicating. However, all the boxes need to be congruent. So it can't be like it's a different person altogether. And that's been the problem with people online. They think they're online. So now they just become this spam artist. I'm like, well, would you do that? Would you go into a networking event and just spam somebody? No, I wouldn't. Well, then why are you doing it online?
Hmm.
So, so what I'm teaching is not new. It's been around, and just I've dialed it in really well in 5 years, and we've helped over 500 coaches and consultants with this, and it works. And people come in and they're like, "Wow, this works," and they're so shocked because no other marketing that they've done has worked. So they're just in shock that it works. Of course, it works. Oh, wow, I kind of didn't know if this is going to work because you said it worked for other people, and that's kind of always the thing, that maybe it works for other people, and that's a human thing. Maybe it won't work for me. And literally, if you do the work, it works. And we've helped all types of coaches. And actually, we have a book coach in there right now. I worked with some other book coaches. So it's really figuring out which platform they should be on, what the messaging is. Okay, for the message of you helping, the actual messaging, and also how to speak with people to highlight your value, that they're intrigued enough to say, yeah, and I do want to get on a short or long call with you, depending where you are, and learning how to highlight your value on a sales call and welcome in the clients in a non-spammy, very heart-based kind of way, because you can help them. They need your help. It's a marriage made in heaven.
Mm. So you reach out in some way directly, whether it's online or through social media, and then
Hmm.
invite conversation or some sort of subsequent meeting or a one-to-one calls.
Yes, that's part of it. And of course, the content helps you with that, because the content can also call them in, and with some kind of an offer. And all of this needs to be done in a way where people trust you, where it doesn't sound like a bot, where they looked at your stuff and they're like, wow, that person looks like an authority. They maybe watch some videos. They stalk you a little bit. It's a good thing. So then they're like, oh, who is this person? Oh, um, that's that's her. Okay, they're already more open if you've got good content out there, you know, already more open. So the content does help. It really does. However, I was getting clients with no content, but just because my messages were so good. They didn't even care about the content, but the content does help. So it's really very simple, and it works. And people can't believe that you're getting high ticket clients from something so simple. Yet there's mastery in the steps. Kind of like if I have a basketball, and it's the same basketball that I'm sharing with Michael Jordan, and we're both on the same court, and we have the same shoes, same hoop. Well, somebody is clearly going to get better results than me, and that's Michael Jordan. So it's simple, but it's in the mastery of how you do it.
It's something like it's old business, right? It's how to influence people and how to be good to people. It's like the old message was somehow more authentic. And that's what it comes across, that you're really
Mm,
attracting people that are one to one. They need your services. You want to help them. And so there's the match.
right. And it's also about annihilating, is the word, deleting, removing all spammy methods that you learned somewhere. There's all of this influence all over, and people think, oh, that's how you market. What's broken? I'm about getting rid of all that and starting new and authentically. Well, I was told, well, let's ignore that you were told to spam people, half lie to them, oversell, pipe dream, but persuade, convince. What if? And it works. So I'm doing this 5 years, and I'm at several million now with this. And people are like, wow, you mean being honest, not lying, telling them the truth, and not signing on clients that they shouldn't be working with you works? I'm like, yeah, it does. Certainly. Because we've been taught that you have to sell, and it's a
Yeah.
little slimy, and we got to get over of course we're going to get over objections if the person has a dumb objection and we know we can help them, but we're fighting for them. But it's not about smoke screens and not going in the weeds. I go into the weeds. I go in there. I tell them exactly what it is that they want to know, so that they're fully aware of what they're buying, because we were taught, don't go into the weeds, just sort of sell something that's vague. No, people are too smart now. I'm too smart now. And when I see these old school salespeople, I'm just like, please, people, read the memo. That doesn't work anymore, but they think it works. And I guess it works on people that think, oh, that's what I have to put up with a salesperson. So it's the future of sales as well, is to be completely honest about what you do. And if you're getting good results, why would you have to lie about it? If you have to lie about it, maybe they shouldn't be hiring you because maybe you're not so good at what you do. So, first of all, be excellent at what you do so you can just be open about it. Yeah, it's excellent. Look at these results. It's amazing. And here's what we do. You have more questions? Sure, I'll answer them. Well, I'm not clear. Sure. What else do you need? I answer so many questions for people so they feel that they know exactly what they're buying and they can make a good decision then. So, I think there's a lot to do with the whole pipeline here from the very beginning to the
Yeah.
conversation to the sales call to the delivery that you are delivering and you are following through on your promises. Because if you don't, that affects your other sales because people will hear that.
Mhm. And this is mostly, is it one-on-one or you're still meeting online, right? Because you don't
Oh,
really
I'm
see it.
online. It's all
Yeah.
online. I rarely go to any kind of networking anything unless it's just I want to go to hang out because I'm in some high end groups. That's not to go there to get clients. That's to go there because I paid a lot to be in these high end groups because I want to meet people. But um, no, I mean this is done completely online. Completely online. Um, if I do go to a networking event by accident, sometimes I'll get a client or two, but I'm not really trying, and it's not my strategy anymore. Sure, I'll
Mhm.
take them if you want to work with me, but it's not a strategy at all to spend any time online networking to get clients because that is piecemeal. It's not a system. It's random. You don't know who you're going to meet. Online, you can choose who you're going to meet.
Mhm. And how do you do that? How do you choose? And especially you're looking for high-end clients. How do you
Yep.
choose and where do you find the high-end clients?
All over the place. They're all over the place. They're on LinkedIn, they're on Facebook, and they're on Instagram. You have to know how to find those people.
So, and then I'm curious, a lot of people listen, of course, and then they say, yeah, so right, I've heard a lot, but what would you say are just actionable tips? Like, okay, they've heard you and you say, okay, try these things. And what would be the actionable tips that they could take away?
Okay, so first of all, none of this is going to work if you're not clear that you have a really fantastic offer. And if your offer is not fantastic, then why sell it? Because there's so much mediocre stuff out there. And then you're trying to push a mediocre product or service. It's going to be hard to sell it. So why not be excellent? Again, be excellent upfront. So now we help people craft their offers to make sure that they are amazing, that they're better than other people's. Like so you're a book coach, right? Well, we got
Yes.
to make sure, let's say you were working with me, we got to make sure that your offer is better than every other book coach for some reason. It's not hard to do. But people don't want to do that. They don't want to over deliver a bit. And I don't mean overwork. I mean over deliver. They don't want to make it that it's got to be that when somebody's on a sales call, that the question in their head is, well, why wouldn't I do this? Not, should I do this? See the difference?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what you want to get to. When you reverse engineer stuff, that okay, let's look at this. This offer is so good that why would they say no? That's the question. Not, oh, I'm going to, push this and hope people buy my mediocre product. And maybe people don't realize that their product is mediocre or something, but I can look at it in a minute and say, hey, you know what? We need to fix this and it's got to be better so that you have the edge out there. That's the first thing. And you have to be super clear on who you're selling to. If you're not super clear on who you're selling to, well, you can't sell an unclear offer that's not that great to an unclear market. That is the first thing, and we help people with this to get so clear that everything else we teach them just works better because we're reverse engineering, starting from the product. How good is it? Why would people buy this? Why would they buy it over somebody else's? That's a good question, right? Sometimes it's because they just love the person. A lot of people coach me because they like me, right?
Sure.
However, the delivery is also good. The delivery is part of my coaching. It's hard. It's going to be hard to sell my business because it's hard to sell certain businesses because it's me. Like Tony
Sure.
Robbins. Tony Robbins apparently has been trying to sell his business for 20 years and nobody's buying it because it's Tony Robbins. But all good. He's made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. So the tip is go back to the drawing board and just really, again, we coach on this. It's hard to do yourself, but you know, would you buy your own offer? Now, a lot of people, when I coach them and ask them that, they go, you know what? That's a really good question.
Hmm.
I'm like, would you? And they, you know what? I don't know if I would. Well, if you would not buy your own offer, there's a big problem. Would you
Sure.
agree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's the first thing. Now, all the other stuff, the tips won't get you there because you really need guidance on this.
Sure.
But the first tip is that's the first thing. So I thought I'd give you the first step. Offer, avatar, pricing, clear, amazing. Now you have a really good hot potato to sell over and over again. That's the first step. So it looks like you froze. I'll just hang out a bit. You're gonna have to. Okay.
Sure. And, this person has heard all the actionable tips and the changes in hot topics. The final question, of course, is how do they get a hold of you? How do they reach out? What would you recommend?
Okay, so you'll have in the show notes my jeanneomlor.com/reviews/. Also, I'm all over social media. I make it simple for people. It's my name as you see it, JeanneOmlor, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. My email is jeanneomlor@gmail. So I make it really simple as my name all over the place.
That's what I always say. So if you can't find me, you
Mm,
must be something wrong because I'm all over. Thank you so much for the tips. And yeah, it's very unique, and yet it's something that's tried and true because
mm.
this is how things ought to be done. You have a service, person has a need, it's a match. Let's move forward.
Right, right.
Thank, thank you so much for your time and your insights. I really appreciate it. Hope we can see you again and people will reach out for you.
You're so welcome. Nice to be here.
Likewise. All right. If you like what you're hearing, and of course, I hope that you do, make sure that you are liking, subscribing, positively reviewing the Doctor of Digital podcast. It's all over the place, just like we've been talking about, anywhere you want to find it. I want to thank the supporters of the program, publishers of both Burning America and On Track, Ian Hunter, for their support of the program. And of course, if you want to know more about what I do, the idea to author coach, guiding your journey from draft to shelf. If you've got an idea, I can help you with that. Then on Facebook, connect with me. Until next time, this is the Doctor of Digital signing off. Thank you for showing up and listening. I know you have choices.